This is Motivation Spark Street Series with David Ernest. Self-leadership is paramount. That's why today I have with me a leadership enthusiast, a consultant, a speaker, a writer, and the convener of the Leadership Masterclass, Paul Udah. Over to you.
John C. Maxwell once said, "The smallest crowd that you would have to lead, yet the most important, and the one that merits you to lead others on a global stage, is first yourself." 3,000 years ago, the greatest leader of all time was born, had an amazing and very impactful destiny, one that was prophesied ahead of time, long time before he came, to show the importance and the weight of his destiny. As soon as he was born, he didn't begin the assignment immediately. Time was given for which he would stay and would grow. He spent 30 years, in quote, under silence, currently working on something until the time of his emergence. Thereafter, years again will come where he would decide to pick those who would follow him for this assignment. And he won't initially begin to send them at once to embark on the assignment. He would ask them by saying, "Be with me." And they would be with him over time. And you wonder, what was he doing when he was 30, all those years till he became 30? What again was he asking or doing to them, having asked them to stay with him and not go for the assignment? The answer: self-leadership. John C. Maxwell has always said, and one time said in one of his conferences, that the hardest person for him to have ever led is himself. This brings us again to the importance and the essence for which self-leadership must not be abandoned, and the essence and importance again for which it must be taught and discussed. Thereafter, you would see again that John Maxwell will spend time in his materials, in his books, speaking expressly on the subject of self-leadership. Our generation has found itself in a time where lots of persons who, with the burning desire and flair to impact society, will wake up one day with that flair alone and begin to run on the assignment, which is wrong. Nobody begins to lead people or lead an impactful life forgetting to work or to fix himself. This brings us to the question: what is self-leadership? Self-leadership here is a system of self-governance. What more is self-governance? According to the original study I have made, self-governance means control. The word governance actually means control. Control, a system of control over yourself. That's what it means. Any man who seeks to go far in life or destiny must first control himself. You cannot begin to help others in a race or an activity for which you have not first helped yourself in. Thereafter, you would see that there are specific things one must intentionally fix himself up with. For instance, a man's thoughts. You must learn to govern your thoughts. This whole leadership thing begins with you. Hence the importance to fix yourself, your eyes, your gaze on you, yourself. You begin with your thoughts. The wise book states that as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. It says not just as a man thinks, but as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. It is important that we govern intentionally or place a system of control over our minds. What goes through your mind? Let's not forget that the action of any man is sponsored primarily by his thoughts. Why have we not been able to get young persons to embrace this concept of self-leadership? Because many people are not even aware. It's not even a thing that operates in the mind. And so there is no level of importance that they have given because it is not been laid first to mind. The first thing begins with this governing your mind, establishing a system of control. Fix your mind. How do you control your mind? What materials do you feed yourself with? It's important for leadership in any pedestal that we are cautious of our mind. Why? Because according to my takes, I have seen leadership to be a thing of 100% of perspective. As your mind is, so would your leading be. As your mind is, so would your leadership style be. Most importantly, I've always said that it's important that our generation began to fix our mind. Once we fix our mind, once we lay some systems of control, some system of boundaries to say, this is my thoughts, this is where I'm channeling to, I'm re-editing my mind. Before I would say that it is wrong, improper to laugh with people, to joke with people towards attending a task. But I've learned over time that it's important to add fun to the equation. Not just leading people with a bossy nature, but you are including fun to it so that they love what they're doing and they're doing what they're doing happily. That's the first part. The next thing is your action. It is intentional that you lay emphasis, a system of boundaries, a system of control over your actions. That I will not raise my hand on anybody I lead. And I will not raise my hand on anybody. That I will lead according to pattern. What's the pattern that the greatest leader of all times did? He led his actions were sponsored by compassion over people. He never for once you would have seen that he was abusive to the people that he led. Rather, he was careful, he was tender with them. His actions were deliberate to building them, to shaping them, and making them to become people of global repute. You would see in the story of this greatest leader of all time, our Messiah, that out of those that he had picked, the 12, as it is stated, he helped them by your thoughts, by your words, by your actions, by your emotions. You lead people. People look at that and seek to follow you. The next thing would be your emotions, that I've already mentioned. A sense of control. A sense of control over your emotions is important. That your emotions will not get the best of you. Rather, you will establish control over your emotions. I'm not a leader who wants to act or talk as my emotions sponsors me. No, I must learn, and we must learn also here that we must delay on our emotions. It is not good to act at the spur of the moment. You must learn to delay your emotions and calm down, to quiet your emotions and then act the best way that you are supposed to act. The next thing would be your words. It is important and crucial as a leader. There is, of all tools that we've been given as leaders to raise people, to shape people, is being our words. If we cannot first culture the words that we utter, the way that we say things would cause damage to those we are supposed to help. So you see why it is important that we should govern ourselves and learn ourselves with ourselves to be careful about our words, to establish a system of control that governs the way I talk. For instance, the subject of tone. It is improper, it is wrong that each time you speak or stand before people, you are addressing them as you are addressing animals. It is improper to stand and speak to them as though you are talking to people who are deaf. Every time your tone is high, it is improper. This is why self-leadership, self-governance must be taught to everybody who desires to reach the peak of leadership. And I trust that by governing your words, by governing your thoughts, by governing your emotions, by governing your actions, you will attain the mastery that you require for global leadership. Thank you.